What is going on, my fellow Masketeers? Welcome back, and we are here to talk about Rings of Power, the season finale, aka episode 8. In this episode, it primarily focuses on Galadriel with Halbrand, and then we have the Stranger with Nori, and those are like the two focal points of this episode. So let me talk about the Stranger and Nori part, and then we'll go into the Galadriel situation. Now, with the Stranger, he basically goes off on his little way to find the stars, right? And then the three wicked sisters of the West, or the Covenant, them three psycho ladies discover him. Let me not even lie, yeah. The middle one, she kind of got like the low shaved hair. She a baddie still. She can get some love. The other two, I don't know, man. I don't know. I digress. So they find him, and then essentially he's the one that they have been looking for, and that he will bring order and balance back into Middle Earth. And then they do the big reveal that he is Sharon returned, and then big ominous music starts playing. The bam 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 situation. And so they're saying that in time your memories are gonna return, but until you get your memories back, your powers, you need to learn how to control them. So your emotions are gonna trigger them, kind of thing. And they decide that they're going to bind his power until his memory comes back. Now, you find that Nori, Poppy, and flipping Lenny Henry who I don't even remember his name, man. The only black half-foot in the show decide to go and rescue him, or help him, should I say. And while they're trying to bind his power, I don't know what their plan was, to be honest with you. I don't know what these half-foots were thinking, but you gotta give it to them. Their hearts are as big as their feet. So they tried to rescue him. Plan fails miserably. Lenny Henry gets a dagger to the stomach. They just threw that dagger straight at him one time. Boom, he done. As they're about to be killed by the three sisters, or the wicked witches of the West, the Stranger basically wakes up again, and because his powers are tied to his emotions, him seeing his friends Poppy and Nori and I guess Lenny Henry in danger, he starts activating. And so like there's a little battle between him and the sisters, and then through some chain of events they realize that he isn't who they think he is. By that time it's too late. That whole situation is dealt with and handled. Let's go over to Galadriel's side of things, because Galadriel has taken Halbrand to the land of the elves to heal his injuries. And while he's there, he somehow finds himself in the workshop of Celebrimbor. I'm really impressed I said his name correctly. Will I say it correctly again? Very unlikely. So just take that L. Take that L right now. I'm taking the L. For my Lord of the Rings fans, forgive, but still respect and rate me for getting his name right just once. Because again, these vernaculars, madness. But anyway, Halbrand, yeah, he's in his workshop. They start talking, and somehow they get onto the whole notion of how he's been trying to find a way to make this vibranium work. Due to the fact they weren't able to get more from the dwarfs, they only have this small fragment. So how are they going to use this to somehow facilitate the saving of the elves? And it's in that conversation where Halbrand is giving him suggestions like, oh, have you thought of adding this metal or combining it with other metals to kind of increase its properties and to strengthen it? Even though you have less, if you add the other metals, you can do more. And again, Celebrimbor. I'm there. He's like, actually, that's quite a good idea. And automatically, I was like, wait a minute, this don't add up. This nigga sus, because he knows too much right now. Even how he's talking, it's like he's been here before, in the sense of merging metals together to amplify something's power. Mind you, he's never seen vibranium. He's never been to Wakanda, but somehow he's out here talking about the right way to enhance its abilities. And I was like, nah, this ain't right, Jeff. But the funny thing is, I already called it back like in episode 5 what the situation was. But anyway, now somebody else who kind of discovers this is Galadriel. Like, she's looking at this whole situation and she's seeing the way Halbrand is talking, and he's talking a little bit too saucy for her. Her little eyebrows raising up. And this actress, like, she has very little facial expressions. Her expressions are dog shit. But her little eyebrow raising up a little bit, and she's thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't really feel feel right to me. But does she act on it? Hell no. That's what gets me so mad about Galadriel. She has this feeling and she knows in her gut something is off. But she's just like, let's see where this goes. She decides to inquire about the lineage of the kings of the Southlands, and she asks a scribe within the elf catacombs or whatever, man, whatever the term elf librarians use. She gets one of them and she asks for any information on the Southlands and their lineage. He makes it very clear that their history or their information on Middle Earth is quite limited, but he'll do what he can. He goes away, he comes back, he brings her a little scroll talking about like the genealogies. You come to find out that, again, the particular line of kings from the Southlands, that shit don't exist. The last king was 1,000 years back, and that man dead. His seed gone, his lineage kaput over. So she's now looking at my man like, who are you? And I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God, are we really gonna do this right now? Are we really gonna do this right now? Again, without giving too much of the episode away, that is episode 8 in a nutshell, right? Let me get into my good. The good of the episode for me, I would definitely say the fight between the stranger and the three sisters was actually really good. It was amazing. Again, movie level. But when you find how much they spent, it has to be. I think this show cost them $700 million to make, but it definitely shows in the production value. But that fight between the stranger and the sisters, A1. It was really good. It was really suspenseful, it was dynamic, and it was a fight of magic which hasn't really been shown in TV shows in that way, or not to that quality. So I really didn't like that interaction. A few revelations and how certain things came to be revealed. Again, without giving too much away, I like how certain reveals happened and what that meant and how that ties into the overarching story. So that was definitely a highlight. My bad, I feel there is a bit too many plot threads which didn't go anywhere. And what I mean by that is there's a few elements in this show, especially when certain reveals happened, where too much is based off convenience, but the conveniences are too big. It's too big. It's too big. That's all I'll say. I'll just say like it's a little bit too big. And as well, again, this is a slow burn, but the payoff, I don't know if it was worth the journey. So I wouldn't really say so bad, but I feel the pace in which it's going, they have to kind of throw in a bit more in between to make you want to stay and to carry on. With that being said, let me get into my verdict. My verdict for this episode, I won't even lie, I think personally it is the best episode out of the season, only because for me, I'm a character person. I love when character is at the forefront of their story, and I hate when character gets sacrificed for story. With that being said, I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. A few things, like I said, didn't really work, and even with certain reveals, I wasn't 100% sold on them. The one thing which I'll definitely say is the creation of the first rings, how that came about. To me, in the beginning, it made sense. When you look at the catalyst and the person that was responsible for it, it doesn't make sense. Only because they would have to be aware of so many other factors going on to get to this point, which again, it doesn't make any sense because yes, they may be quote unquote powerful, but they've never been shown to be omnipotent and the ability to change and work events. And this feels like they would have to have that ability in order to be able to get to this point. Too many things have had to happen for this to happen, where I'm thinking to myself, nah, that don't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You can be a mastermind, but it would only make sense if you were within the inner circle and you knew what was going on and you used your master manipulation to manipulate that situation to get your outcome. But he just came at the last minute, but yet he knew everything that was going on. And I was thinking to myself, nah, that's kind of dead. That's kind of dead. Those are my thoughts and my opinions on the season. Am I excited for season 2? Nah, not really. I'm still in the middle. I'm not a die-hard Lord of the Rings fan, so there's definitely going to be a few things that, again, I missed where other people will be like, oh no, it's this and it's that. As a casual Lord of the Rings fan and as an avid fan of cinema and television, the storylines, the plots in certain parts, it was kind of lackluster for me. Those are my thoughts and my opinions. Let me know what you thought. If you've watched the series, how you liking it? Sound off in the comments. And like always, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you at the next masquerade. Peace.